G'day guys, Froggy Frog 9000 here. Let's look at the new IL-2 Cliffs of Dover Blitz edition. Here it is. Looking good so far, I'm excited. Still got the 2011, copyright 2011 down there. I was expecting that update that to 2017. Alright. Look at the Night Fighter here. Wow. Complete with the diving eagle and everything. And the Halifax. Ooh, looking forward to getting stuck into that. I've seen the damage model on YouTube. Looked very good. Alright, let's have a look at the new Cliffs of Dover Blitz edition. Obviously everything's been updated in terms of the imagery. That looks pretty nice, doesn't it? The searchlights with the HC-111s flying by moonlight. Let's go for a quick mission. Let's go for a quick mission in the Hurricane. Now, although I'm an advocate and a proponent of this game, I'm going to give you some constructive criticisms of how I think it can be better or how I think it's improved. So first up, here's the map. It's looking very 2011. The stuff around it's great. You can see this is all updated with this hyper real looking scene here of the Blenheim and the 109 with this beautifully rendered orange here, orange yellow. It looks fantastic. Alright, engine cuts out on negative G's. Let me try and trim this plane out a bit. There we go, now the nose is trimming. As the speed picks up, that'll modulate. Let's look outside, shall we? So here we are, Spitfire over the ocean, press F10. Now I've got control of the view. One thing I noticed straight up just when I was playing before, look, so I've got full throttle now. If I throttle back, listen to the sound. Throttle up again. Throttle down to 0, or idle. Throttle up again, 100%. Throttle down to 0. There's not much going on there. All I hear is a uniform engine sound, and that's the same as the previous version 4.312 or whatever it was. Full power. You can see the gauges moving. You can see the gauges moving. Okay, I'm going to go down to idle. Full power. Idle. There's not much difference in the engine sound. If you've got an engine that's weighs however much it weighs, 1,000 kilograms or something, and it's not producing any power, it's not going to be making much noise. The reason why I mentioned the weight of the engine is because it's a big, powerful engine. It's probably going to produce 1,200 horsepower or something at full power. It's a Mark 1 Spitfire. 1,500 horsepower maybe. And there's a big difference between 1,500, the noise that 1,500 horsepower generates, and the noise that maybe, 150 horsepower at idle generates. Big bloody difference. And that's not being reflected in what I can hear here with this change of engine throttle. Alright, so that needs to be fixed. Other thing I noticed just before is, see the control surfaces, they're real sort of low frames per second. They're not smooth. They're not true to life. Looks like they've got about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 main positions in the full control deflection, and so you get this kind of clunky animated look to how they move. So that's the control surfaces, and same with I asked them to fix this. So this was on my wish list for the developers to fix this. See the control yoke or the joystick or whatever here. I'll try and get it into the sun, I guess, but you can see that it's quite clunky in its movements. Again, it looks like it's about 3 frames per second instead of it needs to be commensurate with the frame rate that you're getting for the rest of the game. This is something they can fix easily. I'm sure they can get a quick win on this, but for some reason they haven't had enough time, resource, or what have you to focus on fixing it. It's good when I fire the guns that the button depresses. That's good. I'm not sure if that's a carryover from 4.3 or if it's a new thing to 4.5. But yeah, the control yoke needs to be smoother in its action. So that's something there. Going outside again. Have a look at the rudder when I give full control deflection. you can see how it's kind of simplistic looking. It needs to be more true to life than that. It seems to have a few major positions that it leaps between, and it needs to have, you know, if it's got 30 degrees either side of dead center, it needs to have 30 positions either side at least, you know, to reflect the 30 degrees. Where it looks like it's got about maybe, I don't know, maximum of 8 positions either side of dead center. So it's clunky. Let's go full power. Let's not crash. Putting down the gear. Where's the coast, by the way? I seem to have drifted out to sea. I don't know if it's different, but the exhaust looks pretty bloody good. So with the guns, one thing, they've changed the sound of the guns. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But one thing I noticed, you've got like 8 303 machine guns out here, and it sounds like you've got 2. Listen to this. And there's those dodgy control surface motions again. Listen to this. Sounds like 2 guns. That sounds like 2 guns. And listen to this. That sounds like 8 guns. Inside you can hear 8 guns. Outside you can hear 2 guns. Big difference. Inside it's like that buzz saw kind of MG42 kind of sound, which is what you're after when you've got 3 303 Browning 303 machine guns firing all at once. But it sounds more like an old World War I water-cooled Maxim trench machine gun. That needs to sound more like a buzz saw. I think I can hear 2 machine guns there. In here I can hear what I'd call 8 machine guns. So it's good, but the sound outside is too low frequency in terms of how many shots are being fired. You need kind of like a more, like a higher rounds per minute sound there to reflect the fact that you've got 8 303s. Don't get me wrong, it sounds good, but it could sound better. Generally speaking, it looks pretty good, looks pretty smooth. On my Alienware Aurora with 32 gigabytes of RAM and a GTX 1080, you'd want it to run smoothly for the amount that I bloody spent on it. But DirectX 11 as well. So yeah, I wonder where the coast is. I want to check out what it's like. There's the coast. It's probably France over there. I want to check out what it's like flying into trees. Right, let's see some other stuff. I just tried to cut the engine there. Hopefully I don't eject instead. Yeah, it's not working. Alright, let's see what happens. There's the negative G effect. And there's also negative G red out. High G maneuver. Okay, so that's what happens there. A bit simplistic still. Still a bit 2011. Let's just go with the default, eh? We've got a Hurricane versus a CR42, I think it is. Let's have a look at the damage model. It's not up there with the Battle of X series in terms of that polished kind of awesome, everything's taken care of feel. But then again, Team Fusion's only been working on this for a period of time, relatively short period of time with the source code, and the skin looks pretty good, I've got to say. When they progress with this game, hopefully they'll go a lot better. Great, I lost him. There's your G-force effect there. Total grey out, which is a fairly realistic effect. Even losing colour vision as the blood supply to the cones and rods in your eye decreases. Very realistic. So I was going to shoot down a CR42, but I can't find any. There's one on my tail. The engines sometimes have a blue flame, almost like a natural gas flame. Don't know if that's legit or not. How do I zoom in? How do I zoom in? How do I zoom in? There we go. Yeah, I know. Didn't get to show you the damage model there. Here's the Beaufighter. Bristol Beaufighter. Lots of guns. 4 303s and 2 cannon, or no, 4 cannon and 4 cannon and 6 303s or something. Hey. Pretty nice cannon sound. Well, there's the Beaufighter. What do you think? Cockpit is slightly simplistic looking. Again, needs more smoothness from the controls, the way the controls move. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh no. Nose down, nose down, nose down. Nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up. Nose up, nose up. Did I just get hit? Yeah, I'm dead. See it, man. Gunner bail out. Hopefully the gunner bails out. I think that was a gunner there. He's not a gunner, he's a navigator or something. Cool bananas. Let's try 109 and let's try an Avro Anson. By the way, I've got a new video coming up pretty soon. Obviously it'll come out after this video. It's much bigger and more complex. It's the Battle of Kailash, or in fact the lead up to the Battle of Kailash, which was a huge big conflict that was part of Case Blue, German operation, part of Operation Barbarossa, called Case Blue, which had a few name changes, and Case Blue sort of morphed into the Battle of Stalingrad. Battle of Kailash is part of early part of Case Blue, to take the Caucasus oil regions and to take Stalingrad and cut off the Volga River oil supply and Lend-Lease supply going north out of the Black Sea or something, no, the Caspian Sea. Anyways, that is a huge battle, and it's coming up as soon as I can put it together. It's a pretty big video. We're talking like 20 videos rolled into one. So stay tuned. Tally-ho! So, wrong voice for a Messerschmitt. This is one of those features of this game. Yeah, we're flying Messerschmitts with the wrong colours there. Anyways, how does the plane itself look? Looks pretty cool, eh? Where's that Anson? One issue previous version of Dover had was the clouds would pop. I'm sceptical as to whether they've fixed it or not, but so far I can't see any clouds popping. Can you? So hopefully the cloud popping issue is no longer. I gotta be honest with you, I've completely lost those Ansons. Maybe I'll go a bit lower and hopefully they'll show up as a silhouette on the horizon. Again, I've just throttled right back and you can hardly even hear it in the audio, so that's something they need to fix. When you throttle back a 1500 horsepower engine, there should be a massive change in sound frequency, high frequency, low frequency, decibels. Yes, you've got a constant speed propeller, but even that is going to decrease in speed when you put the engine to idle, I reckon. Oh no, there's some clouds popping. They just popped into existence just like that. It's like they get to a certain range and then they go, aha, I'm suddenly going to become visible and I'm going to materialize. Whereas they need to somehow not be like that. They need to morph into visual existence subtly, like in real life. De-blend from the background and come forth as a definite shape with colour and shade. Yeah, I've lost those Ansons. They haven't updated the radio calls at all, by the sounds of it. Or maybe they have. That I got him. That used to be there used to be an error with it. It used to be in Russian, I think. I got him, and now it's changed to English, which is I think that's a change if I'm perceiving that correctly. The point is, yes, Team Fusion, we all appreciate your efforts, but at the same time, you guys are now being paid to do this. If I'm not mistaken, you're being paid to do this. So it's no longer a hobby, it's something that you've got a professional fiduciary arrangement, in a sense. So we expect big things. We expect a game that in all aspects is on par with BOX series, and that frankly in other ways is much better than the Battle of Stalingrad, Kuban, Moscow. Not just the fact that it's a theatre that we all like to play, the Battle of Britain, but actually that everything is as good as Battle of Stalingrad, graphics, gameplay wise, and in a lot of cases better. Here we are over London at 7 PM in a Bristol Beaufighter. One, two, three, four 303s on one wing, 2 303s on the other wing, so that's 6 of them. And then down here, 4 cannons in the under nose belly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cannon. 6 303s. That's quite an armament. Overspeeding a bit here. Too much. The crashes are still pretty 2011, I've got to say. So obviously they haven't really been worked on, apart from modelling the trees for collisions. I'm going to need a cup of coffee soon. Alright, so zoom to crosshairs. I've just remembered I've just found out it's Shift F1. Let's go get those Wellingtons. There's 9 Messerschmitts and there's 6 Wellingtons. Alright, so I've lost a wing. How's that for a damage model? I'd bail out if I knew the button combination. Is it Control E, Shift E? Is it just E? I can still fire my guns. The guns sound pretty good in the 109, by the way. That's cannon and machine gun combined, that's everything. Let's try taking out a Wellington. I'm dead. Shit nibber. Here we are in France, in a Tiger Moth. Here we are in France, in a Stuka. Clunky joystick once again. Let's try some engine. Throttle up, throttle down. There's not enough variance in the amplitude of any of these engines when they throttle up and when they throttle down, in my opinion. There's the clouds popping into existence. So the Stuka more or less looks the same to me as in 4 point whatever it was, 4.3. The engine making some popping sounds and some other sounds. There's a stall. There. Let's give it some throttle. Yeah, it's not liking that. Let's do a loop. Oops. Still firing. That's dedication. And I've lost a bit of my wing. Looks like the engine's about to lose it as well. Let's zoom in on that wing if we can. Is that new? That looks new to me. Looks pretty good. I don't think we're going to make it to the cliffs, are we? Look at that elevator. It's all shot up. That looks pretty good. I'm probably not going to make it to the coast. Oops. Well, this is pretty cool. Some squadron of 110s flying along. Seems that I'm in the lead, and don't know really where I'm going. Both are open. That's why it got louder, is because I opened the canopy. In real life, if you did that, that would affect the flight characteristics terribly, like a brake, like an air brake, and it would pitch the nose up or down, and it would also probably just snap the canopy right off in the slipstream there, doing like 400 k's an hour. Look at that down there. Those are some 111s that I'm escorting. There's another cloud popping into the existence on the 12 o'clock there. That's no good. So yeah, this game is alright, but so far at least it looks like there's just been some very minor cosmetic changes made. The whole feeling I got from what the Team Fusion guys were saying is that they'd done a lot of behind the scenes work on the physics and the maths and that to make the aircraft perform in the game more like they would in real life, like the time to climb wasn't accurate and now is accurate, and that sort of thing. If that's the case, maybe that is the case. I don't know, it's something that I can't really see or feel or notice. What I can notice is I'm going to shoot down this 111. Research purposes, you understand? They're shooting back at me though. So if the developers have solely focused on fixing things that can't readily be seen, there's a few very basic things that I've noticed that they've either not noticed and therefore not endeavoured to fix, or they've noticed them and they've left them because they're not basic and they're too hard, or they've noticed them and they've left them to a later date because they're focusing on the first priority, which might be the physics of the game. Those are my sort of thoughts on that. I hope they've just left it. I hope they've noticed it and they want to fix it, but they've just left it to focus on greater priorities first up. B for flaps. Where's my undercarriage? Might have to go around. Now let's see what this thing does. Going into the trees and that sort of thing. Used to be that you could cruise along through the trees and you wouldn't hit them, which was not very realistic. So let's try that now. I think we'll hit the trees. Let's see what the damage model's like. Yeah, look, the damage model's better, but it's still pretty simplistic how the plane sort of broke into three main parts there. And the parts didn't immediately get affected by the environment that they are in, which was like the, you know, the physics, the aerodynamics, the slipstream, the weight and balance, all of those things. Pretty simplistic. It hasn't been addressed. So what we got here is not as good as 2017 flight sims can be. Don't get me wrong, I like the game, but I criticize it not to tear it down, but because I want it to be better. Alright, should be able to recover from a spin by giving it right rudder. Sorry, opposite rudder, which in this case is left rudder. And it's just doing its own thing, isn't it? Let's give it some left rudder. Oh yeah, cool, it recovered. So that is realistic. Let's find some trees. Yeah. Not bad, not bad. Better than before. Big MacGyver fireball there. There you go, that's Cliffs of Dover Blitz Edition, Team Fusion 4.5. What do you think? Frog out.